Well, good evening, everyone. How you doing this evening? I know it's kind of cold, but we in here we're warm, and I'm sure by the time we're ready to hit off, somewhere down the line there on advancing the course tonight, you're going to start getting warmer than warm. You're going to get hot. Tonight we're going to talk about Jagdio is at it again. You know that fella, right?
Yes.
That demonized man, that Phantom Squad boss. You know the man who I'm talking about? King Liar. The same guy who was opposition leader a couple of months ago and now he is VP, who ain't even supposed to be there. The same covetous man, that's the man we're talking about. Jagdio is at it again. And so we're going to go right off. But let me tell you what. Call up a friend. Call up your neighbor. Call up somebody. Tell them advancing the cause is on. And tonight it's Jagdio is at it again. Look, man, we can't afford to have advancing the cause and you're not calling up your friends, you know. So I'm tempted to take a break, but I'm not going to take that break yet. I'm going to introduce our guest. Of course, he's no stranger to you. This is one of the fellas who will stand up to Jagdio and tell you think I frighten you? You think I frighten you? This is our one and only Christopher Jones, MP. Chris, good night.
Good night. Good night.
It's good to have you here. What's been happening with you, man?
I've been there, though. I've been out there watching out in the corners, making careful notes, especially when it as it relates to the fella that you mentioned.
I know, and as chief whip, you have to be out there because you're the man in between the MPs and the speaker, as well as the hooligan speaker around the table on the other side.
Correct.
Chris, talking about that. This afternoon, I saw a media report there. I think it's in Village Voice. Somewhere there, I saw it, where we had one of the sectorial committees meeting today.
Yesterday.
I think it's the Foreign Affairs
Yesterday,
sectorial committee meeting. And blow up again with Kwame. I mean, this boy doesn't know where to, well, I ain't even sure what I should say. But the skirt always flinging up. And so I learned that he turned off the Honorable Amanza Walton Desire's mic and stopped her from speaking. What is wrong with this boy?
Yeah, but listen, with Kwame Mukai, it is nothing strange. It is nothing new. And essentially, this is what the PPP, the new version of the PPP, the Jagdio type PPP, because when a sitting minister of the government can leave his bench, gets up, walks all the way around and heads over to Amanza Walton Desire, shuts off her mics and slap the mic onto the floor.
Wow.
Right? Slap the mic onto the floor. It is the same Kwame Mukai that we've had the incident in
Kwame
Parliament.
is a minister, you're saying?
Minister within the office of the Prime Minister of Ghana.
So this is a culture to
It's a
abuse
culture.
women. You
It's-
remember
it's
Jagdio and Varshni?
Jagdio and Varshni, Berry, Strip and Slap.
Yes.
The list goes on. The list goes on.
Dharamlal?
Oh, Jesus Lord.
Well,
Yes.
he got more than strip and slap.
Yeah.
He got dildo, he got rape,
Everything.
he got
Everything.
accusation of rape, he got, I mean, child mothers here and all kind of thing you're hearing, these allegations.
Correct.
So it is safe to say that the PPP, the original party's ideology would have been shifted because of this lunatic that we got there now.
You know, Coretta. Well, I mean, I know on the agenda of your program tonight, you will come to the teachers and public servants.
Well,
and so
of course,
forth.
of course.
And I will want to reserve my comments about the PPP, the political party then, as
Okay.
opposed to PPP now.
But you know, Christopher, as we go on, and I really want to say hi to some of these folks out there, but I sometimes put myself in a box because when I start calling the names and shouting them out, then you hear, but you didn't call my name and you didn't call. Look, I want to shout out everyone who's on the program at this time and those who are making their way home in a hurry to get on the program. Joanne, you're always there. Joy is always there. Sharon is always there. Linda is there. Cheryl is there.
From
and
Barbados?
This is Cheryl Bascom from Barbados.
Yeah.
Cheryl, night, and shout out to you, girl. I love you bad. But Barbados folks, we love you. But Chris, you know something? I have some folks from Switzerland who are always on this program. As a matter of fact, they've sent me some photographs because we're having the ILO conference in Switzerland now, and they've sent me photographs of the Guyanese delegation.
Nice.
Let me tell you, the Guyanese delegation consists of, and these are the ones that I could recognize. It's 4 of them I saw. Minister Hamilton, Minister of Labor, the same man, I think with the video that's circulating, same man. Jillian Burton, who is a very good friend of mine too.
Former General Secretary, the
She,
Postal.
yes, she is his as technical assistant. I think she's there, and of course Carville Duncan. Absent from that delegation is any representative from the Guyana Trades Union Congress, and these are the people who talk about one Guyana.
Correct. Correct.
But you only have one umbrella body being represented there. And I can say this is the kind of wickedness that is being perpetuated across this country. They keep preaching one Guyana with one voice, and with the second voice is no Guyana. As the teachers were saying, Ali saying one Guyana, Jaglio saying no Guyana.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. But again, my friends from Switzerland, I want to say good night to you. Good night to the folks who are watching us from Paris. Good night to the folks who are watching us from French Guyana. Hey, shout out to you. Big up, big up. One family. Enough love. But Chris, we got to talk some more about these people. Yeah. I have never heard or seen being reported over the last maybe from beyond 2015, between 2015 2020, the amount of accidents we are having on the roadways. You ever notice it?
Yeah.
Every day is 2 and 3. Between Friday and Sunday, Church Street alone, they collect 2 or 3 vehicles. Yeah. South Road collected 1. Every day on the roadway, somebody died. A motorcyclist ran into some car, 18-year-old, he's dead. Somebody else saw vehicle topple here. This thing crash head on. What's happening, Chris?
Listen, we talk about policing the roadways and so forth with traffic police and traffic grants and so forth. But it is a two-way street. In one, those road users need to ensure that they use the road in a proper manner, not speeding and so forth. But at the same time, there is need for policing and stronger legislation to prevent it. Because if, for example, a person is caught speeding, the charge is about a $10,000 fine. Or maybe you just pass something, so to speak. Not the right thing, but that's what happened as reality. And I think like many other countries, some probably over a year ago when Irfan Ali opened the roadway by the jumbie board, he spoke about having these camera systems set up that they will capture image. The cameras are up there watching you and people taking pictures of the camera instead. It's not working.
Well, Chris, to talk about those cameras are not really to catch, if I can use that word, to capture images of the road users and speeding.
Yeah.
What I think that camera is there to do is to look for me and you if we are going to be having a protest along the line or if we are assembling somewhere there. That's what the camera is being used for. And every day we see this. The purpose of equipment, the purpose of sectors, they are not functioning the way they ought to function because we got a crazy man who's sitting there and he manages and micromanages everything.
Yeah.
So nothing else can happen. Outside of the accidents, on my way here, we had a power outage. Well, I know right here we got things in place because every time I'm on, almost every time, we have a power outage here. But Chris, I remember this story about this big power ship. But this power ship, like it in power.
Listen, I had reasons recently to post that the power ship needs a power ship to power the power ship. And that's the reality. Listen, you date back to when the AP and UFC was in government. The fact of the matter that former Minister of Infrastructure, David Patterson, under his leadership, the Guyana Power and Light was on par. Is that you had a vast reduction of power outages. You had a complete revampment of the power supply on the SC Cribble coast. That they were building, that they would have had backup generation waiting for if in the event that you need. What the current government did when they got into office, they fired all of the engineers from the Guyana Power and Light. And you know what happened recently when they bought those old pieces of equipment for millions of taxpayers' dollars? They had to get going higher.
You're talking about the 17 generators that 8 working, the others something, I think 5 started and the others ain't started at all.
Correct. And then they blame the engineers. But what actually happened, the engineers that they fired, the PPP fired, they're not rehire them. They had to hire them on that basis to fix. So the engineers, they made a good $30 million for 2-day work or whatever the case
Well,
be.
Chris, of course, if you're firing me
Mhm.
and you're pulling me on again, whether it's as a consultant or
Right,
whatever,
right.
I don't know when again I get in a little hiring. So I
Exactly.
got to live.
That's right.
And I'm not going to live for today and tomorrow. I
That's
got to
right.
live for a period.
That's right.
And this is the incompetence that we're seeing in this government.
It's not only incompetent, it is corruption. Listen to me. All years we know the PPP. If, for example, the PPP go in and fix roads in your village, within 2 months, the road starts to deteriorate. And 6 months after, another contract is given, the road is rebuilt and over. The PPP never builds anything that will stand the test of time. And I date them back all the way to Forbes Burnham era with the Linden Suzac Highway, for example.
Quarantine Highway.
The Quarantine Highway.
Kanji Bridge.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge.
Man.
You know, these structures that Forbes Burnham built since Noah was a scout are still standing today, years after that they were built. The PPP built up. Look, check, for example, this railway embankment. It's really not an embankment, it's a revetment. Up, down, left, right, bridges and all these things. So it is all about, it is a corrupt practice that the People's Progressive Party Civic is known for, that they build nothing that will stand the test of time. These structures, take for example, the Linden to Lethem Road.
Oh, gosh.
The Linden to Lethem Road, you saw average Guyanese. I saw a TikTok video with a young man. He seems to be a contractor. He himself said that, in his words, the contractor needs to learn the gospel deep and wide.
And deep, I saw that.
Deep and
I
wide.
saw that.
You understand me? So the average Guyanese in every village across this country, they see when contractors are building roads, they're not even contractors. Because
some people say contractors.
all of that. Because essentially these are people that are not known for building anything, like a critics, $800 or something million.
Chris, I saw, just let me cut you. I saw a parent commenting the other day, and she was asking, how is it that you expanding roads, and you got the lamppost still in the middle there? She said, come on, man, you don't got to go to school to know that. Why couldn't you place posts on the outside there and then start transferring the wires, the lamppost in the middle of the extension?
Yeah, because when they do that, a year from now, a new contract is going to be issued to remove them. That's how they keep the money flowing.
I wonder if I could apply for one of them contracts, by.
No, your name is Coretta McDonald.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, your name is Coretta McDonald.
So I'm not a Guyanese.
No. You're a different species of Guyanese.
Okay.
You're the type of Guyanese that have no access to this, save and except if you're a friend. Are you a friend? Are you a family? Is Coretta McDonald a favorite?
Well,
none of the above.
I know that I'm not a favorite. I ain't got no. I mean, Onage Waldron is supposed to be related to me by some way. You know, yeah, she's her father and son. They're from Berbice. They're from the Quarantine, Liverpool Village on the Quarantine. They're supposed to be related to me, but
check it out. Family.
I didn't think. And I mean, Dharam Lal was supposed to be my friend because he was supposed to be converted to church by another friend of mine.
Okay.
But I didn't know if I got the contacts.
Yeah. but that is the unfortunate situation we have in Ghana. And that is why it is not by accident. We saw just yesterday the United States Treasury Department issued that whole statement sanctioning the Mohammed's family, May Thomas, a permanent secretary of the Ministry of Labor, and so forth. And they outline there are a whole slew of information that they have there because corruption is rampant. And just to remind your viewers, Coretta, it is nothing new. I told people so many times, September of this year is going to mark 27 years since I've been a member of the PNC.
What?
Yes, I know. I look the part, right? Look, right? 27 years. And during my time working at Congress Place as the public relations officer to then leader Robert Corbyn, we've seen it all as it relates to the PPP. Ghana under Barrett Jaglio's presidency, Ghana was blacklisted.
Yeah, well,
right?
I know that one.
Constantly under Barrett Jaglio's administration, Ghana was known as a transshipment point for narcotics, where no single person have ever been arrested in Ghana, save and except these the narcotics are found in other jurisdictions, emanating from Guyana. Guyana under Barrett Jaglio's administration, you had a phantom death squad.
Well, I know that one too.
And that's why when you said that when I shout to Jagdeo, I'm not afraid of him. But the actual word was that I ain't forget you. And the
Oh.
Guyanese people will not forget you. And I told people, as long as I have a platform, I will use every opportunity to keep reminding this nation about Barrett Jagdeo and the individual. And tie that into what you mentioned about Chedi Jagan, Janet Jagan's PPP. They are currently rolling in the grave to see the state of the
Chris,
party
you know,
right
it's
now.
not them, they're rolling in their graves. But what happened to Clement Roy? What happened to Donald Ramatar? What happened to all them Chandra Pauls?
Jagdeo essentially put them in a corner. They have no say. Jagdeo has taken over the party.
This is a cult now.
It's a cult. It's a Jagdeo, and you see how he goes about full mafia style.
And you know, quite a lot of, I mean, even the smallest of child, they're saying, no, the president is Jagdeo.
Yes.
Because you don't really hear the president. You don't see you would see the president walking around the place and in people kitchen stirring
Michael
food
Jackson
and doing all kind of craziness. But in terms of making real statements, you don't see the president. No. And so one is left to believe or to conclude that the man with all this say.
Yeah.
We saw them, we heard, and we can go off a little bit, but we got to talk about it. We heard them talking about sanctimonious gangsters, but the real gangsters are those at Freedom House there.
That's right.
Because when you look at their recently held Congress, you will see nobody come and put an X with no ballot go behind nothing. I know in the PNC you got a booth and people just go there. They go with their party card, and then they look. People, the persons at the table there would look, make sure that their names are there, give them a tick. Then they go to another table and that is confirmed again, and they collect their ballot. They go into the booth, and you don't see nothing like that at the party Congress.
Exactly.
All you hear, you see people went to some room and they come out with a list.
Yeah.
Well, that list is the list, because Auntie May on the list, and you say, well, May gets an home in June. Yeah. But Chris, on a serious note, when we look at all of this happening under the PPP, prior to 2015, is drugs and more drugs and plenty drugs. Is murders and more murders and plenty more murders. Is crime here and crime there and crime everywhere. It's all kind of madness. Now they have returned in August of 2020, and by the time they return, biggest drug shipment.
Correct.
So you know, I'm wondering whether the drugs were being stored up for that 5 years. Largest in the world. Why Guyana always making these kind of headlines when the PPP around?
So it is a known fact that persons who are associated with the narcotics trade, they find comfort and peace under a People's Progressive Party civic administration.
Well, I can attest to that, because when you look at the pictures of the ministers, when you look at boy Batty Lion, Charles Ramson, when he walking around, you can identify all the culprits with him. You know, you look at them.
I didn't see it, but I was told that a Facebook influencer had put out a statement some time ago stating, or rather asking the question, why is it seems like all of the people who are associated with the People's Progressive Party civic are either past convicted murderer, crook.
I saw one for me is it Bermuda or BVI?
Yes,
BVI, I think it is. I think it's BVI.
Criminal, oh my lord.
I think it's BVI, where he can't go back there.
And they have
he was deported from that country.
And they have a specific terminology for persons who are not resident on the island. For them, I'll get it before the end.
We know that Dharamlal's visa was revoked. We know that is Dharamlal Kwame. It's a whole set of them visas to get revoked. And these people just model themselves as if they're pies, as if they're saints. When they come around to talk about sanctimonious gangsters. But then again to the list. Look at the list. The man is at number 5 or number 6?
I think he's number 3. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the PPP list or the
PPP list?
Yeah.
The man name is with Dharamlal name there. Somewhere high up there. I think he's either in front of Gail or just after Gail. I was surprised that my very good friend who know all them big words and who just construct words and put together and do all kind of things with words, I was sorry that his name was way down, Dharamlal, way in front of him.
Anil.
So Anil should get a clear message that Jaguar wants you nowhere close to him.
That's right.
Anil, let me say to you, brother, the PNC and the PNC and the coalition, our arms are open.
Yes.
We would accept you because we know that you got a little value. We just need to shine you up a little somewhat.
Yeah.
We would welcome you over this side. You will feel comfortable. There will be we will not humiliate you in any way. You'll be comfortable here. So feel free to walk over. Don't bother with them big fancy thing, the Range Rover and so that you got. You'll keep that. They can't take that away from you. The semi-palace that you have, they can't take that away from you. You know, Anil is my good friend. Anil is my good friend. When we in parliament and so on, if I'm on the street, if I'm in court with him, you know, the GTU had a court case, and of course he had to make reference to me, his parliamentary colleague, and you know, and so. But Coretta is a big thing in the PPP in terms of discussions on Coretta. But we can get to that.
Yes.
But you know, Chris, as we go along, I cannot not mention, we spoke about the power shape, but I cannot not mention that a country that is the 10th richest in the world, with a high GDP, with all kinds of money circulated, the new Dubai of the Caribbean, and just the other day, our international airport was shut down. Runway lights shut off, and they blame it. You know, they love to blame something. It's thunder and lightning, some storm passed through.
Yeah, the people in the area, nobody storm, but apparently it only happened exclusively at the airport.
At the airport, you know what somebody said? Well, they had to shut off the lights to pack in the drugs. They had to shut off the lights to get the gold, and the two people, the three, or how much of them will get catch with the gold that they were trying to ship out. Those were just the little fishes, and so every time we're seeing, it's just the little fishes are being caught. Now, poor May get thrown under the bus in June. Another little fish. I mean, I'm sorry for she. Because you know what they're doing? All the little people, they're putting up there as the scapegoats. But the real big ones.
You recall the drug bus with the containers that left Port Ghana.
Yes.
And then the police went off looking for this young man.
Some Primo.
Primo. They're looking for Primo, the man who dealing with scrap iron, and not the officers who the container passed through their hand, the trucks that transported it. None of those people. It always has happened.
And then the thing is, they were saying here, I remember this same Jagabot, Jagdi at it again. He said they hadn't any videos, video footages and so on. But the people till out wherever, Brussels or wherever, they had video footages and they were seeing everything that was happening, and we here couldn't. Jagdi said we can't see it.
Wasn't a similar thing with
the
paper
same
sharks?
thing with just we will tell you the same thing with paper sharks.
That would.
Imagine the president and the prime minister living right up Main Street there.
And none of the CCTV
and
cameras are working.
The cameras ain't working. So what kind of security we got in this place? I guess maybe that's why they, you know, when you pass, if you pass Main Street now, and the street behind them is New Garden Street, not New Garden.
New Market.
New Market Street.
And the other one is middle.
If you pass those two streets, you see a line of police vehicles are lined up there on the road there. So I figured the camera's not working, so the policemen got lined up there. You see them boys throw back in the vehicle, some of them. And you know, one of the things that really upsets me is the fact that these guys are in these vehicles and the engine is on and they're locked away in a heavily tinted vehicle and they're just there and the engine just running. I mean, it's me, you taxpayers' dollars got to pay for that. And they see nothing wrong with it. You go to Parliament and you see them drivers sleeping in the ministers' vehicles and the engine running all the time. I mean, who must put a stop to that? We got to bring some sort of semblance to this place. Everything chaotic, everything wishy-washy is about the PPP. Why we got to have these things?
And you know, I always say to people as well is that like how you mentioned in terms of the CCTV cameras and so forth, the PPP is of the opinion that in Freedom House, that's where the brain is, and everybody across this country are dunce.
Everybody.
Right? And that they can simply say to you that, listen, paper shards got shot. None of the CCTV cameras are working.
And we
and
believe
you
them.
must believe them. It was a storm pass over the airport, knock out the lights and knock out the backup lights and everything. You must believe that.
So it's a storm pass and knock out the bridge in Letem.
Yeah, a storm. It is a freak storm. It was heavy, intense rainfall. And to use Robert Prasad's word, it was a heavy, high accumulation of water.
Where did water come from?
Because
it wasn't there alone.
Right.
Remember, other parts of this country,
Correct.
it was flooded.
Correct.
And these people are so baptized into what they say that they don't realize that it's nothing to them when they sit down there to lie, you know, because I heard Mustafa saying that it wasn't flooding. It wasn't flooding. And it was just some water here and there.
Yeah.
And so many persons were suffering. I mean, look what happened in Linden.
Mm-hmm.
Where did water come from?
Correct.
Are you saying that the water came from some coker or they opened somewhere by the river there and the water came in? What caused the flooding?
And tie the flooding in Linden to the PPP contractors that did work a few days before, and that roadway that they built, which actually blocked that main waterway.
But it's the same thing we have in Aubrey Barker Street, where they're blocking all the gutters, they're covering up. So as soon as a little rain fall, the place flooding. Exactly. Because there's nowhere else for the water to escape. So the place flooding. And I don't know who advising I don't think anybody could advise them, because if you could give Critic a contract, then
I mean, listen. When the Dutch built the irrigation system in the city and many villages and so forth, is that they have these huge trench, and you have areas that would take off and hold water until you have no time that you could open and so forth. Now, if the government is moving in the direction of constructing these concrete drains instead, it has to be an overall system from point A to point B, because if you do concrete drains here, it will take that water off and send it somewhere else. And similarly, like what is happening in Albaistown with the Pontrench Dam, now built extremely high.
Yes.
And the entire Albaistown is now below.
Well,
so all of that water
Chris, I spoke about that. I spoke about when they do. Of course, everything about the PPP is a big show. They don't care how it is done. They don't care about anything being done properly, but everything is a show.
Exactly.
You remember it was this Sunday night before the Monday local government elections that Boulevard was open.
And bridges in my area from Guy Hawk Park over to A Field, B Field, and C Field were built the very night, I kid you not, the night before the local government elections, when we passed through, these guys constructing bridges.
And then, so I spoke about that. The Boulevard is built, Independence Boulevard is built at this level, and here is where the residents are living. So you remember when you had to go into some of those little streets, is a big deep down.
That's right. And that's where that is now, that Albaistown is now holds the water for that entire area. It runs and it sits in Albaistown, and that is the last area that now drains. So what they're doing now is attempt to build up the streets. So again, the situation will arrive is that you have the internal streets are now above and the residents are now below.
Same 6 and 4.
Correct.
But these people don't understand that. And when you try to talk to them, they tell you a whole lot of foolishness. I remember us talking about these things in Parliament, and they would shut you up, which includes the speaker, because he's no different from them. But this thing is so disgusting. Accidents, flooding, airport lights shut off. Every 2 days is a blackout. Now, the people in Region 3, the people in Region 5 are complaining about water shortage, water cutting off at a certain time during the day. Now, I'm noticing it is happening in Georgetown, where water cutting off in certain areas.
If you need to wash whites, you have to full buckets of water and leave it overnight for that settlement to settle.
I can tell you, when I used to see people putting up the bowl with the discolored water, the Marby. And I used to say, but maybe it's a one-off thing. They're exaggerating. I had that issue myself. Just last week, I had to change over the water system. And in changing over the water system, we had to pressurized system. So to change over the pressurized system now to everything that I got at home, no, we were doing a double thing. Because when you have the pressurized system, once it's power outage, you can't get no water. None of the sink, none in the bathroom, nowhere else. So we were putting in a double system, but we had to shut off the pressurized system for a while and get water from the main.
Yeah.
Chris, I don't know if I can still
come.
rash on my skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rash on my skin. One day.
Correct.
Rash on my skin. But if you see the color, that water, the smell, don't talk about the smell.
Yeah.
And imagine I threw Marvex into that water.
The question, like many of your viewers would want to ask, in the days gone by, when I used to reside on Durban Street, right next to First Assembly's church, and then we moved to Smythe Street, and then I moved to John Street, Campbellville. You got to turn on your pipe, particularly in Durban Street, those in the early days, and water coming till up to the second floor.
Yes.
You understand me? This is 2024. Guyana is now an oil-producing country.
Technology
isn't
has
the
emerged.
basic services like electricity, potable water, and so forth, so this something easily had?
Don't talk about health, because I'm sure you saw the
Easily
rats competing with the patient at West Demerara Hospital.
Yes.
But we are in a sad state, and these people boasting all over the place about the development.
And the budget allocated this year, 2024, is over $1 trillion. We've had Caribbean countries talking about Guyana that surpassed all of them with $1 trillion budget. What has all of that money benefited the people of this country?
Well, Chris, I think you exaggerating with the Caribbean, but I want to tell you that, and to set our viewers too, that from 1966 to now, all the budgets from 1966 to 2023, all of them add up, can't reach this budget.
Exactly.
And you're not seeing anything trickling down. You're not seeing the lives of persons being improved.
No, because you see, PPP is a PR government, you know. PPP is a PR government. DPI, NCN, they work overtime.
So you're saying they're PR? As in Priya?
Yeah, all of that too. When we come to she popular. She popular, you're good friend. Anyway, it's a PR government. The budget comes out and it's touted $1 trillion. All of the minister of government was on DPI and NCN. This $1 trillion budget would benefit people. Up to now, you're still getting blackout. The water coming from your tap, dirty and stink, and it doesn't reach your pipe. And it doesn't reach that second floor. Your streets are still in deplorable state. Right now, we competing with mosquito for space during the day.
Oh my gosh.
And at the same time, there is an outbreak of dengue.
And typhoid.
You would expect a government with $1 trillion budget that every day in every village across this country, you see fumigation and everything happening. In fact, the Ministry of Health puts out advertisement, which is good, guiding people and so forth. Ensure there's no accumulation of water in your home, turn over tires, turn over empty containers, which is good. You are purchasing Baygon, which is like about $1,200 for a can, and within 2 days it's finished. And this is on the box
of them mosquitoes now. If they make a time with Baygon,
it's like deodorant for them.
Chris, you have your AC on and you check it, mosquito
bite you. Exactly.
And I was like, it's so good. But you know, I saw some of our teachers from tuition putting up on Facebook, why you come help me now? Them mosquitoes want to run away with.
During the day.
And this was during the day. These teachers were complaining about it.
The sun is out. You literally have to open your curtains to ensure that sunlight, because that's the only thing that deters them. But they're there. They're there. And to date, we haven't seen a direct response from the Ministry of Health, which got the largest hog of this $1 trillion budget. You don't see no much. Listen to me.
Nothing.
Listen to me. Coretta McDonald, any small company in this country could donate to the People's Progressive Party Civic Ministry of Health about 20 mistblowers.
But they ain't got to donate none with this $1.146 trillion budget that we got.
No, I'm trying to point that it is so cheap. It is inexpensive. But despite the Ministry of Health and this PPP government $1 trillion budget, nowhere across this country you have seen no fumigation. But hear me. Hear me. The reason why you in Albistown, you in Moore or Enterprise Village or over in Region 3 or Essequibo Coast, you ain't seeing fumigation. You know why? Because your minister of government in he or she house, fully AC. from the front door to the back.
Yeah.
So when he wife and the children and the baby wake up in the night and everything, you ain't got no mosquito bothering them.
Not
It's
on-
just that you gotta go and change pampers. So it doesn't affect them.
Not only the ministers, the PSs too.
Of course, all the friends, family, and the favorite.
Them CEOs too.
Right. They enjoying that. You understand me? So, you know, they're going to say again, who feels it, knows it.
I know that.
And in every village and community across this country, whether you're PPP
Or not.
you're
You're
feeling it. You understand me? And
some of them shame. They're shame for
so
talk.
they're putting it out.
But a lot of them feeling
They're
it.
putting it
And
out.
when they meet you in little groups, they're talking.
And
Let me tell you, Chris, since we're on this, I was fortunate. It was an honor for me to meet Auntie Data from Wickenham.
Mhm.
She cried on Sunday when I was talking to her.
Yeah.
Tears swelled up in my eyes that this is a 76-year-old woman. And she says, sister, let me tell you, me a PPP, me a vote all the time PPP. And that's what they're doing to her.
Yeah.
But you can imagine what they can do to,
I'm non-PPP.
oh, Jesus.
I'm non-PPP. And that's why I said
I mean, God, we don't consult anymore. It's that's the attitude that
Yeah.
we have now, where you're just bullying people off of their land and taking away their land from them and that kind of thing.
You see, you know the saying, when your neighbor house on fire.
But Chris, before we go there,
Mm.
let me see. I'm sure the operator has a video with operator. Let's play that video.
And we're talking about background. So this is where.
This here is on the Soesdijk Highway. This is up there, and these are residents who lands were allotted to. These are persons, ordinary Guyanese people who were allotted lands. The people got the documentation. Some get 5 acres, some get 10 acres, some get whatever. But you know what? Again, Jagdio is at it again in the person of Kwame.
Yeah.
You know what? He went there, he took some persons up there, and persons who had 5 acres, they divide the people thing in half, and he give it to friends.
So he's now lands and surveys.
Fair. I thought fair. We went before the time, and they never give us a chance to
Live and let others live. Live and let others
No,
live.
this is wickedness. This is wickedness. It's wickedness.
This is so unfair. It is not fair. It is not fair.
Nobody here
want
wanna
to
like
that.
nobody
You
for
would
no
not
them
have
dog.
like that. This is
None of them
wickedness.
here where you see them come and them and get land what don't fuck
Y'all going in your community and doing them dog. Y'all ain't going to do them dog.
Everything has to be raised. I know that's
Yeah.
where it will end up.
Yeah.
I know it will end up. And the point,
Y'all
yes,
is doing it in your
I know it will end up there because everything is racism for y'all, for some people. Everything is about racism, not about ordinary people getting an opportunity to earn a land, but you want to covet 10,000 acres.
Correct? What? We coveted nothing. We get lease for him.
This is
We
wickedness.
get lease for him.
Bring the lease. Show me the lease. Bring it.
Let me show the lease.
Yes, mommy, get it.
Let me show the lease. I got it here. Don't run away. I got it here in the dance. Come on. Put it on the camera. Let them.
Yeah. Mommy, hurry up and bring it.
Put it on the camera. Let them bring the lease and running going.
Come, we gonna walk up and reach you. This is so unfair. My 23-year-old son ready to start life. Apply. Can't get a piece of land.
Sound like if we mad, but we ain't mad. I'm 47 years old and I don't have a land. I don't have a land.
Yes. So, Chris, what we're seeing here is reminding us of what transpired in Mocha just the other day.
Yeah.
What transpired
Mocha and
at
success.
Success. What transpired at Peters Hall. I noticed today the residents of Peters Hall, they went to court today. I didn't get to find out what transpired, what happened at the court hearing there today. But this is what these people are doing. The people got leased to show that they have their original document, legal document. And Kwame's only response to them is live and let others live.
The question has to be asked, on what or whose authority is Kwame Mackay, the minister with responsibility for public relations or whatever, in the office of the prime minister, doing
Jagdu at it again.
exactly.
Jagdu at it
Exactly. Kwame is the if Kwame Mackay was the subject minister of housing or water, I could have understand that the minister is engaged. What is Kwame doing there?
I think he has responsibility for the East Bank or something like that.
But that's political.
But where is the minister with the responsibility? That minister should have been
whether
there
he
with you.
whether he has responsibility for the East Bank, that is political. That is his party's arrangement. But he's not the subject minister of housing and water. And I want to commend the residents there
For
and
standing up
also
to him.
alert others to do. When you have situations like this is the strongest device that you have. You take your smartphones and you record. If you can go live. Because you want evidence. Because I can't understand, Kwame Mackay is not the minister responsible for Lands and Surveys Commission. Kwame Mackay is not the minister in charge of housing and water. What is he doing there? And the people clearly has lease for their land. And he's saying little left. Kwame Mackay is dividing people's land and giving out to people.
And when the people going to get the evidence to show him, he's walking away.
Exactly.
And that's the kind of arrogance with all of them, every single, I shouldn't say every single one of them, because you got a few of them who are decent.
Most of them.
I can't even get it right. Most or enough of all of them.
Exactly.
That's the kind of arrogance they display. And we see what they display in Parliament. So we could imagine what they're doing with ordinary citizens.
Good luck. The congressman, Jackson, that was here recently in Mocha, he get to witness it firsthand.
Yes.
That when residents are speaking, the minister said, I will speak, I will, and so forth. That's how they behave. Is that no, the people are not the government. Jagdeo, PPP, and the ministers of the PPP, we are not even landlords.
And their supporters.
Right, everybody, we're gods.
Because, Chris,
we're
what
the
we
gods.
saw happening in Mocha there, we saw that many of the persons who were sitting in that community center there, they were not from Mocha.
Exactly.
The people from Mocha were standing around.
That's right.
And the congressman recognized that.
That's right. And then after the congressman allowed the residents of Mocha to speak. You remember the young lady telling them that you got 30 seconds?
Yeah.
It's like, what the front? Shut the front door.
I know.
30 seconds to make a presentation. And then the PPP, you see again, sorry, Coretta, again, Guyanese or wherever you're listening to, the PPP believe that everybody in this country are dumb, dunce, and stupid.
Dumber and dumbest.
They moved the congressman to Albaistown.
Oh, jeez.
And you had a whole parade of PPP activists. You had this girl, Tricia Richards from
East from Veld.
You had
the cricketer
Chase
boy.
Green.
Yes,
living by me in
you
Topville.
had the cricketer boy.
All of that there. And then it's like, no, and look, congressman, look, the PPP, the bill this road for we, and look, the street light door. And look, you see the drain when water fall, the drain when the congressman should have asked them, show me where you live in.
Well,
show me your house.
Well, I heard the congressman asking one, when she said, I must, and look now, all of them had the script that are rehearsed.
And what is sad and most disappointed about this is that these people are happy to display PPP giving me crumbs.
Yes.
You understand me? It's like, listen, road, lights, drainage and irrigation,
water,
those
are obligations of the government.
Of any government. Of any government, they have to provide that. Listen to me, the PPP is not doing you a favor. It is a right.
They don't understand that.
You understand me?
Those are the things that they need to understand.
And I am hopeful that Congressman Jackson could pick sense out of nonsense.
But he did.
Of course.
And he has done that.
Of course. And that, it just continues to display the arrogance of the PPP.
As a matter of fact, Chris, if you were watching that, then you will have seen the congressman asking a young lady. She said, "Oh, I must thank President Ali and the PPP and something." And he said, "She got some business, something or something." He said, "How long have you been established?"
Right.
"Oh, just the other day." He said, "How much staff you get?" I got like about what she said 9 or something. How is it going for you? She can't answer.
You see. I mean, my God.
But here again, more scapegoats they're putting there to make themselves look like fools.
And the people who are taking that bait make themselves fools as well.
But that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, Chris, they're not recognizing it. Look, May. Just the other day, May went in a big scrape where her visa was cancelled and all of that. Big scrape she went in. Couple mornings after that, no, she did a bigger one.
Yeah.
Who putting her up to these things?
Exactly.
Now, May has no authority to do all them things, issue contracts and all them things that she do it.
Exactly.
She had to have had the authorization and approval from somebody, and I sure it's not Robeson Ben.
No.
Can't be
Listen,
Ben.
I mean, I would say I'm going out on a limb, but Robeson wouldn't get himself involved in them things though. And this going on a limb for Robeson.
Well, I know that I can put you in some problems now, but Robeson and all complaining that he fed up with this cult and the cult leader because they've drifted.
Because, exactly. We said it before. The Robeson, Ben, the Rohis, the Donald Ramatar, and these folks. These folks come from a People's Progressive Party, Civic Party. I mean, while having the opportunity to cover then leader of the opposition, Robert Corbyn, in Parliament, I've seen these people in Parliament and how they operate. When you talk about a working class political party, care about workers' rights and what, you were talking about the PPP, and these Bens, Rohis, Ramatars, and so where they come from that cloth. This set here is the Mafia Squad. This is the Jagdeo Mafia Squad.
Jagdeo it again.
Yes.
Jagdeo it again. Chris, I don't know what crown we could give this man. I hear this man was termed the champion of the earth.
God.
But I think is the champ. They make a mistake. It's champion of the dirt.
My God.
It's champion of the dirt. They should have given because he ain't championing no earth. Because when you look around, rather than having grass and sorrow, you remember the man sent people to on this same East Bank Highway there. When you turn off by DSL, you remember they went cutting down all them palm trees down there. They cut down a whole lot of them palm trees in Essequibo.
There you go, Anna Regina. Yes.
And he's champion of the earth.
Champion. Well, he has something to do with earth because under his administration, when he was president, a lot of young people, young men went under the earth. And that's why I say to a lot of them now who are out there, them 22-year-old and so forth, they never experienced Jagdeo as we know it.
You never see the man, you're seeing the man face. Where is operator? I think operator that we must see this man face.
Listen.
This man is a dirty man.
Listen.
When a man could treat a woman bad, when he came from a woman, you must understand what dirt we play with.
Listen.
And every Thursday this man got mashed, this man got every Thursday he got mashed.
He know everything what going on. Like the other day when he talked about the teacher, we up to the door. Listen, I say to young people, them 22-year-old and 20-year-old who now experiencing Jagdeo, and some of them is get carried away.
Very carried away.
Communities yes. Like, why? Somebody tell them why when Jagdeo is a boss, and when Jagdeo was around, banners used to make a bread. And I keep telling them, when Jagdeo was president, banners used to dead.
I'll just go over every day. They make a
banners
bread
used to dead. That man, right? And that's why outside of the Ghana Elections Commission tonight, I told them, we ain't forget you. We ain't forget you. And across this country to date, you got mothers, wives, child mother, grandmother, weeping for their loved ones.
Children.
Where under Jagdeo's administration, you had the phantom death squad every day on Sharma. Every day on Sharma, your neighbor running and tell you, turn to Sharma. Wait, turn up on Sharma, some bar, some street, drive-by shooting.
Somebody they find on the road.
All over. Then you had the period when the police used to gotta run and hide. Every day police
I know that.
Every day police there.
But you notice, Chris, we seem to be getting back somewhere there.
Yes.
Because I'm not gonna forget this. We had 2 shootings, 2 police sergeants.
Yeah.
One said by mistake he gun fire off and killed the one police sergeant in the interior.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the police shooting at another police sergeant, 88 bullets.
Enough shooting. Enough shooting. You see what happens?
Before you go there, Chris, let me tell you this thing.
Yeah.
I know that back in the days, and I remember when my great uncle Henry Fraser was commissioner of police, you had Alvin Smith.
Henry Fraser.
Henry Fraser was commissioner of police. You had Alvin Smith as crime chief. You had a whole host of them. I ain't talking about the Henry Green and McDonald and them. No, not them. I mean McDonald, yes, he's them a family. I talking about them. I talking about these men, Skip Roberts and these men. Back then, you had to be of a certain stature. You had to have a certain qualification to be in the police force. Now, dog, cat, rat, all in the police force.
Bet you if you could talk, I said, Jagdy is a boss. You're good.
You're good.
You're good.
I mean, very ready. No wonder the police force is the way it's at. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing that the man who is now sitting there as commissioner of police acting, all he had was the birth certificate. I mean, where we going?
Listen, every 5-year or 4-year or even snap election is called, the people have an opportunity to do what is right by themselves and their children. You know, they have a saying that you get a government that you want.
That you want.
Because today, many of the PPP supporters who during
voted for them
get a Granger.
Yes.
And Granger must go and all these things. Not for them to this day saying, listen, and the businessmen in particular.
Yes.
They say, under Granger, they used to make money, decent, clean money. They say it. The teachers, unfortunately, across this country are witnessing the full blunt of Jagdio PPP.
Jagdio at it again. Chris, we the police force. We got some good policemen in the police force still. And women.
Of course.
But we got some rogue ones.
Yeah.
By the time they stop you, pass it. By the time you turn, so is some illegal transaction. You remember the little boy Bacchus where they shoot and kill up the East Coast there for some little stupidness? Yeah. And they said, oh, they had some drag net, something they set up. And up to now, they can't come up with this net like it disappear, like mosquitoes run away with it.
With the young man from Dartmouth Village who got killed in
or in Boston, who was killed in his bed. And I don't know, you're not hearing a whole lot about these cases and what's going on with them.
And the question is keep asking, like you asked with the drugs, how is it that these things always happen under the PPP?
Well, Jack, again.
When you go back before 2015, you could talk about Shaka Blair, you could talk about the Mandela Trio, and the list goes on. PPP time. PAP and UAFC, professional police force, people feel safe for the longest time. I never felt so safe. Crime happen, next day people get catch, arrested and them thing. PPP come back in power, boom, biggest drug bust here, biggest drug bust there, police shoot a man in the bed, police kill it, everything.
I don't ever forget young Johann C. Douglas. That young man might have been a top attorney or some engineer or something like that by now.
Joseph Hamilton's godson. Sitting PPP Minister of Government, Joseph Hamilton, Johann C. Douglas was his godson. And I can tell people during my time in the YSM, when Joseph Hamilton was a member of the PNC, when Johann C. Douglas was killed on Sheriff Street right out there, Joseph Hamilton had a meeting with the YSM members and he made the point pellucid to us that let me tell you something, unless you young people get out there and protest and put an end to this, today is Johann C. Tomorrow it will be you. Same Joseph Hamilton.
So he is a...
Same Joseph Hamilton, his godson.
He is a... I don't even want to say the word because it is what they want ethnic relations commission, kind of thing. But these men who are allowing a couple of dirty dollars to sway them,
Yeah.
selling out their birthrights.
Yeah.
You know, and I would tell him very often in Parliament, you are ungrateful. You should be thanking the PNC all the days of your life because Burnham saved you. We know the story.
When Burnham saved he, and word is that the PPP saved him when relative of him got in accident, persons died. I'll leave the rest for later.
I know this. I know the story.
And that story is similar to this guy that is in charge of NCN, Nias Suban.
Nias Suban.
You should have seen Nias Suban here in Congress Place.
I remember
when you Desmond High come in. Nias Suban run up behind the comrade leader. Nias Suban.
We got some real ungrateful people around this place, you know.
Listen, you want their story about Nias Suban under Desmond Heights leadership of the PNC when Nias Suban was a member of the People's National Congress Reform. Desmond Height was like a god to him. Comrade leader, morning, comrade leader. And I would stand up for a comrade leader. Some story bust out. Nias Suban would have found himself incarcerated. Nias Suban jump ship. And then swing around and talk all ills about the PNC.
About the PNC.
Yep. Nias Suban, comrade leader. Listen, I'm sorry. But at times, a group of us were semi Congress place, and like, okay, Nias is in the car now, and here comes you, there's my vehicle roll up, with he and Liming coming out of the thing, and Nias Suban, comrade leader, morning, comrade. Oh my God, forgive me. Nias Suban, same man, NCN now cussing out PNC.
No, you.
Same thing like Joseph Hamilton.
You just can't help but calling these fellas.
Yeah.
DAWG.
Yeah. Comrade leader.
Huh? You can't help but calling them that because that's who they are.
Yeah.
They run for little $2. They run and sell out the whole nation.
Yeah.
And Joseph Hamilton would stand up in Parliament and behave like, you know, he forget that he used to be at the House of Israel.
You know, you say people gotta sing for the supper. Right now, Joseph Hamilton's singing for people's freedom.
He's singing for more than the. He's singing for more than all them contracts that sharing Wild West and so on.
Yeah, friends, family, and favorite.
The girl, what's her name? Cassie her name. I think it's Cassie or whoever. With a knockoff from Bits and all kind of thing. All of these people. Yeah. But you know, when you go around with these ministries, you want to know if you. I mean, and this is not being racist or anything. Yeah. This is the fact. Yeah. When you go to some of these ministries, you want to know if you're in India. As if Guyana don't belong to any other group of people. Yeah. You check the Ministry of Education, all them departments, all the departments across this country. And we can talk about this now. We can't go any longer. We got to talk about education. Education is on the down because Jagdew is at it again. Correct. And Prion the flunks herself. Correct. I see she writes some letter the other day about Lincoln Lewis and Dr. Vincent Adams were on a program that GTU hosted because, you know, of course, everybody knows that the teachers are on industrial action. As a matter of fact, today is 65 days combined together since the teachers are on industrial action. Yeah. Chris, as a father, I know you're going to tell me about it as a father, but with this whole thing happening, we are engaging our teachers because we don't want them on the streets all the time. So we are engaging them on Zoom platforms. And we had Lincoln Lewis there, renowned trade unionist, a man who stands up for rights regardless of which government is in place. Right. And Dr. Vincent Adams, and she will address them as these two pensioners. Apparently, Priya will get old. No. Priya will not get old.
Or she mama and daddy didn't get old.
Well, they were pensioners too, but they were very decent people. No. I don't know where this girl come from.
No, but right there, let me insert this here. Right there, that sort of scant disregard for the elders of this country is what we saw recently at the Palms, the geriatric home, of which the residents there were being fed a boiled egg and a cup of black water tea. So when you read what Priya Manichan says, it gives you an insight as to how they view the elders of this country. Priya now get old.
That is why you see. Look at the list. Look at the list of people who on the CEC.
Correct.
All the way below, except maybe
Priya is immortal. She not get old. She just stay fresh and rosy.
She addressed them as these two pensioners.
Correct.
The kind of disregard in this day.
Yeah. She mom and daddy wasn't pensioners. That is how they treat. Listen, from their mouths, you will hear the truth. And so often it comes out.
They tell you that the mouth
These two
reveals what the
pensioners,
mind conceives.
yeah, the pensioners are the palms. That is what Priya Manichand's government is giving the pensioners at the palms. Black water, cup of black water tea, and a boiled egg.
Outside of those are the palms. You travel the post offices across this country, you can see pensioners stand up from since 5 o'clock in the morning. They're turning up at the post office to collect their pension.
PPP don't care because their elders in their home, whether it's the mother or grandmother, whatever the case be, their money sufficient to take care of that, so they don't even need that. You understand me? And that's what I tell the viewers out there, whether you're PPP, you could support Chelly Jagan and the party and everything, it's all of we being treated the same by this government. They disregard your elders. They don't concern about them.
And so when she said that, Lincoln Lewis responded to her and he said to her, you ain't got no authority to tell me what, but tell me about pensioner. Look at me and look at you. And of course, he went into what teachers in, I think it was Upper Dem, teachers had said to her that she's a pig.
Listen,
she is a wild hawk, something like that. And he went on to talk about when she spoke, when she went to the ambassador's residence and how the late Dr. Luncheon described
that's
her.
That's why she's referred to as Satira girl.
Well, and you know, and we don't expect to see anything better. She's getting every day she gets worse.
Correct.
She is the worst minister in the education sector or system in this country. Worst education minister with a belt of 20 lives. She got that belt that she going down with the road with. Education minister who can't differentiate pronoun from preposition. Education minister who cannot dress. I mean, they just talk about, they say you mustn't go this, but you have to go there. When this girl behaves like a fool, you have to go there. And so she doesn't fit that. But she jumps up and she talk about all kind of things. The same education minister who got all kind of skullduggery going on in the Ministry of Education that she's fully aware of and she is saying nothing about it. Staff, this staff and the staff fighting, sexual allegations with people in big positions. We should just pick up from one place, dump them at senior positions, giving them big fancy super salary, got them living in government quarters and so on, and they're doing all kinds of things, but are waiting for she because of course she said now it is overbearing that she sent off one on administrative leave. But I waited, and then they want the young lady to cover up this story and so on. But I waiting for them. And it's not different. Everywhere around education, you have the same things happening, the very same things happening. You got qualified people, they're pushing them in a corner, and they're bringing incompetent people, and they're putting them there, and the qualified people got to work along with them. Right now, we got to, they just had some appointments. And we have the Deputy Chief Education Officer Administration. That position has not been filled. All the other positions have been filled. That one has not been filled. So you got an actor, somebody acting there. And you're keeping them acting there just like how you got the Chief Justice and the Chancellor acting so you can throw all kinds of things at them.
Correct.
And these are the people, Priya Manicchand, as an attorney, you're hearing a sound from her. The opposition leaders already given the go-ahead. Appoint these two ladies.
They have no
not
objection
a word from Priya Manicchand. Not a word. And so, coming to the teachers issue now, since 2020.
Let me ask you this. I said I'm going to ask you this on this program. What it is that the teachers across this country would have done to the People's Progressive Party Civic?
Well, let me be honest. Let me be honest with you.
Them nursery, the primary, the secondary school teachers.
The teachers in Linden have spoken out against the PPP government. So there's a punishment for them. You notice they're punishing Linden. So the teachers fall into double punishment. Across this country, the majority of teachers across this country are Afro-Guyanese, and then we got Indo-Guyanese, and then we got the mixed races who make up, and we got the Amerindians who make up our indigenous people who make up the teaching fraternity. But Afro-Guyanese forms the majority. So that's the punishment for teachers. Under the Granger government, I think we have, I am not sure. I think we have that video. I'm not sure. But maybe operator could just play the videos that we got there to show you how teachers protesting along this.
Across the country are continuing their strike action, and the government through Vice President Barjagdio says
Not
that
that.
the government
We'll come to that one in a while. Don't worry if you don't find it. But the teachers across this country are suffering because in the minds of the PPP, you are not our voting bloc, so we don't have time with you. Now, they are not taking into consideration that when you spite the teachers, it's 3 and 4 and 5 generations.
Yeah.
You're impacting their lives negatively.
Yeah.
Now, imagine Priya Manik Chand, very, very dishonest girl, you know, who stood there to say, she stood there and complimented teachers during the 2020 when we had COVID, complimented teachers for coming out and going out there to share those work, distribute those worksheets. You remember in East La Penitence and Sophia, they had blackboards on the streets where teachers used to go and write work and so on. And the teachers used to go there and put the boxes by the school for parents to drop in their worksheets. And that girl turned around now to say teachers are asking, the teachers union is asking for increases for 2020 when the teachers didn't work in 2020. You ever see anybody so bare face like this girl?
But we saw footage of Priya Manik Chan as opposition member in a teacher's strike against the APNU AFC government, and she commended yourself and the union.
Yes.
And Bharat Jagdeo took it to Parliament.
Yes.
And was loud and top that you must pay the teachers.
Efren Ali was in Parliament, loud too.
Yes. What happened? Nobody in government now.
But and they were saying then that teachers could get more than 20% at 50%.
Yes.
And now the teachers are asking for 20%.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you can't pay it. You don't have any fiscal space. Yeah. But we have to talk about the 2019, 2023 aspect. The GTU would have, as a matter of fact, let me say, the first multi-year agreement signed between GTU that GTU would have ever had was signed under the PPP government in 2006. First multi-year agreement. GTU used to have one every year. Every year they go and they bargain. Yeah. And then we said, this thing ain't making sense. Multi-year agreement is the way to go. Thanks to the late Dr. Roger Luncheon, who said, it doesn't make sense to come every year. Do a multi-year, so you don't have to be running up and down. You know what you have there covered. And if public servants get more than what you have in your agreement, you will get the extra. Yeah. And so we went there. So this multi-year agreement is nothing strange to the PPP. How they're dancing around and making themselves fools as if this thing is something, it's nothing strange. Yeah. So we submitted our proposal in 2019. Of course, they had the no confidence motion, budget couldn't pass and all of that. So that couldn't be inked. In 2020, August of 2020, the ending of August, early September, the GTU met with Priya Manik Chand as the minister returning to education. We handed her our proposal, and that was after we had submitted the proposal to the PS and everybody. Alfred King was then the PS. 2020 passed. We said, all right, they take over half or whatever quarter of the year. Yeah. 2021, we writing left, right, and center, nothing. 2022, imposition salary. 2023, when we wrote the president, we wrote him several letters. And then he identified Gail Teixeira, Sonia, and Priya to be the three-man committee to talk about the proposal. Yeah. Now, Priya haven't had this proposal long before, pretended as if she didn't know anything that was in this proposal. So at this first meeting, the GTU had to go there to explain everything about this proposal, what is, and don't, you know, Gail was there, and Gail must write a whole book. But that failed too. And so in 2024, the teachers union decided, after writing the Minister of Labor several letters, and he can't, of course, is Jagdeo again. Yeah. He can't say nothing. He can't respond to anything. We wrote the chief labor officer, highlighting to him how far we have gone, and we're asking him to intervene. He never intervened. But lo and behold, in 2024, about 2 months ago, when the Ministry of Labor wrote him, right away he intervened. Right away. So you're seeing how biased these people are. Yeah. Anyhow, let's get back to this story. The teachers wrote the Ministry of Labor, Education. We copied to the president. We copied to all and sundry, all our affiliates across the Caribbean and so on. We copied to them saying, we are tired and fed up of this. We are going to be launching out an industrial action come the 6th of February. We gave them enough notice. Now, they, at that point, because of the bully, jagged you at it again.
Yeah.
They decide they're not talking to us and they're not going to talk to us because it is in their bloodstreams, in their DNAs.
They're the gods. How dare you simpletons speak to us
Yes.
and direct us what
Yes.
to do? Jagged you.
So they did not respond to us. And I think they felt that the teachers would not have supported the industrial action. And so when our teachers came out in large number, you had them running like headless chicken all around the place. And when they couldn't put it like this, they decided to put it like this, like that. Now, this is what they did. First, they said the strike was political.
Correct.
Because Coretta MacDonald
Yeah.
is a member of parliament for the opposition. As a matter of fact, the chief education officer, I think we got a picture of him somewhere. Put it up, let people see this incompetent man. The chief education officer, this is the man who, after what, maybe 2 years of being in office, the largest teacher strike he got under his belt. He just like Priya. This is the man who was not appointed. This is the man who was a political selectee because he was not even an assistant chief education officer and he bypassed all of those people and was made chief education officer. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have the qualification for it, but he was made chief education officer. This very man collected the lump sum debunching monies that the coalition paid out in 2018. A set of ungrateful people we got. Now he's chief education officer and he is playing Mr. Right. Every day he writes a memo. Every day he's sending out a memo that don't make sense sometimes. But the thing is, we went there.
Saddam
Hussein. This is the man who got just the other day a whole busload of education officers went up to the primary school that his child is attending because the teacher dropped some lashes on his child. A whole busload of officers went down to that school. And you got serious things happening in other schools, and you don't see education officers. Teachers getting robbed in schools, you don't see them. Teachers getting beat up in schools, you don't see them. But a whole busload of them gone down to that school because of Saddam Hussein's his child. Saddam Hussein's child. So nobody must beat his child regardless of what they do. Nobody must beat his child. Now, I'm not saying whether the operations in terms of the administering of the corporal punishment, whether it was done correctly or not.
Right.
But I'm saying a whole busload of people gone down there.
Because it's Saddam's son.
Because it's Saddam's son. So here we are with the teachers' strike. Saddam Hussein took it upon himself. Well, of course, he didn't take it upon himself. Jagged at it again, where he wrote a letter saying to the teachers that they should not support this strike because the strike has been called by Coretta MacDonald, member of parliament of the coalition. Now, I am a teacher. I am writing to you as General Secretary GTU. Why you got to write about member of parliament for the opposition APNU? And this is the kind of disdain these people got for anybody who's not singing the same song like them.
But it takes you, and you know, I asked several times for people to make reference to the general secretaries of GAU.
And the presidents of GAU.
And the presidents of GAU. Because, for example, in Parliament, all the years that I have been in Parliament, Kumal Chan has always been a PPP member of Parliament.
And there's no noise about it.
No noise about
no
that.
noise about it.
He has since passed. There's a replacement.
C-Paul Narayan.
C-Paul is there as a member of Parliament.
And no noise about
and
it.
No noise about it.
And mind you, the sugar workers strike several times.
Right.
You never hear that it's political.
No, and not only that. The teachers are today on day 65.
Yes.
Could anybody recall recently any sugar workers strike that went to 65 days? The minute the sugar workers go off 3 days after,
the president himself going to meet with them.
Big meeting, the president gone up, then the minister of what's your name? Dr. Vindya Prasad.
Yes.
She will turn up because of the strike action. There's some people are suffering from mental illness or whatever, and she got all of our officers.
Yes.
And she would go back with a truckload of hampers and so forth because the sugar workers.
Nothing for the teachers. Absolutely nothing for the teachers. And so I am happy, Chris, that you're bringing this out so that our viewers can understand what is happening in this country. It's not one Guyana, it's not two Guyanas, it's three Guyanas. One for the three Fs, one for the Venezuelans and the others, and then the other one for the ordinary people.
And the fact of the matter is that you again out there, Guyanese people, whether you're PPP, PNC, AFC, WPA, GAP, whatever the case be, your child is being deprived of education for the past 65 days.
65 days.
But Priya Manik Chan, Anil Nandalal, Charles Ramson, Bharat Jagdeo, Irfan Ali, and I can't remember the rest of them, all of their children have been attending school every single day because their children are in private schools. So when you jumping up there, whether you're in Enmore or Enterprise or some village or community that you support the People's Progressive Party Civic, and you shouted, yeah, they teach them wrong or whatever, your child is also out of school for 65 days. While the same government that you're defending and saying that they're right, they pick me, all of they pick me in school for the past 65 days, getting a good sound education while you own the home kicking brick and eating downs.
Yes.
That is the reality.
And I can say to you, Chris, they're jumping around and they're saying, oh, they strike this and they're striking that, and teachers are returning to schools. Let me tell you, the GTU is enjoying 51% of our teachers being away. It might be a little more, being away from the classroom. Being away from the classroom.
But you said 50. Isn't it the same People's Progressive Party Civic during the 2020 campaign had on those lamp poles across the country that they will increase public servant salary by 50%?
No, man, it was Photoshop.
Then the woman come and say it's Photoshop.
It was Photoshop.
And
let me tell you, Chris, let me give you some stats. And I'm going to give you some of what in Region 4 and some in Region 5 and 6. In Region 4, let me give you some of the secondary schools. Yarra Cabra Secondary, they have an enrollment of 788. And this is today, I'm telling you. A child was present at school today. They have a staff of 47. 10 were present today. Soesdijk Secondary, 503 enrollment. 11 present today. 38 staff, 5 present today. BVPIC, 142. 1 child went to school today. 19 staff members, 4 present today. Bladen Hall Multilateral, 5 teachers present today. President's College, 632. 232 were present today. 232 were present. 55 staff, 17 present. Now let me tell you about the 632 and the 232. That 232, the majority of them are the ones who living in. So we ain't alarmed about that. Buxton PIC, 117, 0 went to school today. 12 teachers, 5 went to school today. Diamond Secondary, 655, 0 went to school today. 50 teachers, 5 went to school. Annandale Secondary, 627, 58 present, 55 staff, 20 present. Now, I ain't going to all the other secondary schools. The whole list of them is about 19 of them. Now, you tell me with the schools that I've listed there and the students who turning up in school, you tell me what impact teachers going into school making. And you tell me if GTU is not on top of this game. But you know what they're doing now? They're throwing all kinds of things out there. Oh, this in Region 3, they're threatening a lot of the teachers in Region 3 because you know that's a highly politicized region. They're threatening the teachers bad in Region 3. But let me tell you what happened. I know a school today, and I think yesterday, and I think the same thing happened today. They had an incident there, and it's Lenora Primary. The teachers just refused to go to work yesterday. They said, we on strike.
You know what?
We on strike.
What I would recommend you do is like what Jagdeo tried to peddle during the first days of the strike. That he was saying that teachers were being intimidated and threatened, and they set up a hotline, Priya Manichan as well too, that you must call in and report.
Did you hear any reports? Did you hear them published?
Zero.
Okay.
Zero.
Okay.
So the teachers union should now set up that same hotline and have the teachers make reports about government officials who were threatening them, because some of the things they got teachers whose husband is working in certain ministry are being threatened.
Yes.
That is how this PPP government operates.
I didn't remember, because I would share some voice notes of some of the Redos who are threatening teachers.
Yes.
A teacher in Port Kaituma Matthews Ridge.
Yeah.
The DEO said to her, you get back into school and then you can tell me about, we can talk about gasoline, because the teacher said, Miss, I don't have gasoline. Well, go back to school. Don't tell me about strike. You go back to school.
That's why I said that Chedi Jagan and Janet Jagan would be rolling in the grave, because these are people during the days who stood up and stood strong for protests. They supported protests, actions, and so forth by public servants.
But you know, we had Jagdio there in 2018 who said that the teachers' strike was not political.
Exactly.
He said, Operator, I think you might have that one where he said to Granger, stop being a ceremonial president.
Yes, and pay the teachers.
And pay the teachers.
The teachers were
He
paid.
said then that the teachers' issues were real. Now it seems as if the teachers' issues are not real.
And during David Granger's administration, there was no oil money.
We had no
We had no
money.
$1 trillion budget.
And the teachers in 2019, the teachers got 9%, and we had oil.
Exactly.
We had no
Exactly.
oil. Teachers got 8, 10, 9, 8, 9, 10, 12%. The lower class of teachers got the highest percentage. Now, Chris, this strike going on for 65 days. Look, stop being a ceremonial president, solve the teachers' problem. Jagdia, what you doing now?
Exactly.
Solve the teachers' problem.
And this was,
now.
I think this was about what, 6 or 7 days into the strike.
Into the strike.
Jagdio now got 65 days.
65
and
days.
he can't solve the
Because
problem.
let me tell you what, the strike in 2018, it was for 9 days.
Yeah.
5 days during the vacation period. You know, coming down to the last week of the vacation,
Right.
teachers have to go into school to make sure their classrooms are all right and they fix up, write up their registers and so on. So it was 5 days during the vacation and the 4 days when school would have reopened.
Right.
Because it was the Thursday we called off the strike after we met with the Ministry of Education at the Ministry of Labor.
And that
We
was-
called the strike
and that
off.
was the end of it.
And that was the end of it.
Same man, Jagdio.
This man.
Same man.
Jagdio at
That
it
man.
again.
And this man, Jagdio, last week was saying that his government is considering giving the parents
We got the
$700,000.
thing somewhere. This man, this joke. I want parents to understand. Christmas don't come in June. So any Santa Claus come muddling around you in June, chase them. Jagdio coming now and behaving as if he's some Santa Claus, where he telling parents that his government is thinking about is, we have to play the video, I think it is, where his government is thinking about giving each child. Now, you can't even give teachers a $50,000. Now, if you give teachers a $50,000 increase, each teacher $50,000 on their salary, coming off another $1.146 trillion budget, that will be equal to $166 million. It ain't touching no way, and that is equivalent to 0.7% of the $1.146 trillion budget. But he is prepared. They're thinking about giving parents $700,000 per child. Now, that in itself, I think, Chris, you probably don't do the maths.
And listen, so okay. So for your viewers, Coretta, understand this. Jagdio has just said that his government is considering giving each parent $700,000 per child. Now, when you do the calculation, the school population speaks to about approximately 150,000 students. That 700,000 per child at 150,000 students will translate to $1.5 trillion.
Yep.
Now, if you divide that $1.5 trillion that Jagdio says that his government is prepared to give to parents, and you divide that by approximately 14,000 teachers that we have, is that each teacher per year will get $7.5 million. And if you divide that $7.5 million by 12 months, each teacher, according to Jagdio's figure, each teacher could take home monthly $625,000.
But Chris, we ain't even asking for that. We're not asking for that.
So no, but you see, it just shows the arrogance.
And he think that people are stupid.
Exactly.
People know how to do
It shows the arrogance, because if Jagdio is saying that his government is prepared to give $700,000 per child, that translates to $625,000 salary per month for each teacher. And the public, and as you said, you guys don't want anything like that.
Chris, each teacher will not get that because we just do across the board
Exactly.
there. We have teachers from TS scale 1 to 8 to 19.
If that's
So based on the scale that you fall in, you're not going to get 600 and something thousand dollars.
right.
The highest rating of teacher, the highest scale will not even meet that.
Good.
The highest scale will not even get that.
And
And so the monies we're asking for is nothing that will dent this 1.146 budget, but the man is just arrogant.
And listen to me. The fact that Jaglio says that they're considering giving each parent $700,000, it says to all on sundry what we've been saying all the time, that the money is available.
There.
The money is available. But you know
And
that
even Chris, even if you don't have it in this budget,
You could
we
put it
know
in
about what?
supplementary
budget.
They could bring a supplementary budget. And listen this here. You know what they say? When a madman say he could pelt you, you know he done got the brick. The fact that Jaglio and noting how the People's Progressive Party Civic operate, when they say that they will give parents that to go to private school, that means Jaglio done got his friend, his family, and his favorite
Jaglio already building.
Building private
Jaglio
schools.
probably building. Priya probably building. Saddam must be building
Exactly.
too. Plus the PS probably
Exactly.
building.
So if the strike goes on, they know where the money coming because they
And,
get the
and I
job
want
back.
parents understand that you're collecting the money in your hand.
Of course not.
You ain't collecting
Of
that
course
money,
not.
those monies in your hand.
Of course not.
So don't think you getting any monies. But the thing is, Chris,
It
let's
is
go back to
wicked
this.
and
Wickedness.
vindictive.
But let's go back to this. You are claiming that you don't have any fiscal space in the budget to pay the teachers, but you already thinking about 700,000 to give to each child.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell y'all this one. I never talked about it before, but let me tell y'all. VP Jaglio, I'm now going to consider your offer, and we could think about having twins because it's 1.4 we can get.
A guy said that to me in Ruben's gas station recently. When we were discussing this, the guy said, "But what? I gotta go and adopt some children. Because if I adopt 4 children times $700,000, $2.8 million.
$2.8 million.
Exactly.
But the thing is,
And that's why
I don't want parents run away with this thing because you're not getting that
you're not
money.
getting that. Basically,
That money is going to the 3 Fs.
Coretta, that's why I asked the question, what is it that public servants, not only the teachers, what it is that public servants across this country, policemen, soldiers, the people in the office, the teachers, the nurses, the doctor, what it is that public servants would have done to Barack, Roseanne, Jaglio, and the People's Progressive Party Civic, that they can be so wicked and vindictive to this group of people, that Guyana is now blessed as an oil-producing country, that we got money for pelt dog. But the public servants who will basically keeps this country afloat can't get a livable wage.
But Chris, look, we raise monies and we send to Palestine.
Exactly.
Charity
Money
begins
going
at
all
home.
over.
Charity begins at home.
Exactly.
You starving your people here, but you're sending monies all over the place to pretend as if you're so nice and you're so good and you're so godly when you're a devil in disguise. The other thing too, Chris, Barack Jaglio said, they can't give teachers a raise because they will not be able to sustain it.
Yeah.
So how are you finding 700,000 to give to the parents? They think
Exactly.
people stupid.
Exactly.
Jaglio at it again.
That's the point.
But I want to come to this other point where he said, the teachers, they are going to stop employing teachers with the 2 subjects. How this man could be so disrespectful to teachers again? And he got Kwame with 1 subject, and Kwame is a minister.
You're terrible. Sorry about
1 subject. The teacher at East Rumveld School said it. 1 subject. He ice passed teachers because them same 2 subject teachers teach Barack Jaglio and cause him to be where he's at now.
That's correct.
You know, I've seen people saying it's better Barack Jaglio to get 2 subjects. He would have been a little more considerate, caring. He would have been kind, and he would have hurried to give teachers an increase in public servants all across this country. You got too many subjects.
Mercy.
Teachers long ago, you know that you got policemen who ain't got none subject and they're holding high position in the police force. And this demonized man is talking about teachers with 2 subjects.
You know, it bleeds your heart when you see what public servants in this country got to go through. You can't go to the market with a 50,000 or 20,000 and say buying grocery, you know.
Chris,
Yeah,
Chris,
understand me?
something is wrong with you. You know? Something is wrong with you.
Oh my God.
I go to the supermarket and I call for a couple of things. So, and when the woman said 27,000 something, I said,
yeah,
I'm looking for seeds.
yeah.
And these are basic things.
And you haven't paid bills yet. You haven't paid no bills yet.
So, Chris, it brings me to the point where a teacher's take-home salary is $98,000 a month. How that teacher making out?
Exactly.
And that teacher got a family, a husband or a wife, and 2 children. Yeah. How they making out? Yeah. My colleagues in Upper Mass, Waramadong, and all these areas, our indigenous people, you know, the field up there. One bottle of gas is $18,000, Chris, not $80.
1 liter Coke is
$18,000.
A 1 liter Coca-Cola is $1,000. When those teachers afford to buy it at the end of the month, it's a treat for the children.
It's a treat for the children. That's why when you see the teachers come to Georgetown, they're buying up KFC and so on to carry home.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing for them.
But you see again, Coretta, viewers, whether you're PPP.
Chris, before you go there, tell us how much is 98,000 in US? Less than 500.
Exactly.
And you know, our teachers they are committed to what they're doing, you know.
I've been in schools. I've been into Tocqueville Secondary School. A teacher friend of mine in his classroom had all of these teaching aids. And he's like, come, go over by the shop and buy this out the pocket. I like, why were you going on? He's like,
Chris,
all these things the teach. I didn't know teachers do that.
Chris,
teachers buy lunch for children on a day. They take out their lunch bowl and they got 3-4 students there and they feeding them. I know teachers do that.
Teachers do that all the time.
What it is that the public servants in this country, what they have done, the People's Progressive Party civic, that they treat them in this manner.
It's not only public servants, because with the teachers strike now, the canteen operators and their families are suffering.
The ripple effect.
The minibus operators and their families are suffering. Those who have those private taxis that they drop off school children, they are suffering along with their families. The speedboat operators and their families. So it's a whole grouping of citizens who are suffering. And the People's Progressive Party, jag you at it again, they see nothing wrong with them.
No, because
but here now, this thing here, Chris, it gone past there. It's Coretta McDonald. The woman who said no to Jagdio. That is the thing.
Listen.
And it's not C. Paul Narayan.
No.
Like I said to them, you know, I was saying to our teachers the other night, don't let Jagdio come and tell you all foolishness, because Coretta McDonald was elected by 3,000 plus teachers across this country.
Right.
I was not selected.
That's right.
I was not handpicked. I was elected through a transparent process by the teachers. So he can't come and tell us who must be where and who must. And I noticed this man, Barrett Jagdio, this man got some obsession for me, you know. Priya to say I got some, it seemed like if I got some obsession for she, and I have to tell she I don't do girls. But Barrett seemed to have an overrated obsession for me. Since back then, you know, when I was much younger and so on, when he playing all kind of fancy stroke and so on, I said, no. He seemed to this aggression, this obsession seemed to be continuing, because this man, apparently he doesn't know history. Under the Burnham's administration, we had Jean Persico, who was the president of the GTU, and she was part and parcel of what was happening in the party there. She was an advisor to Burnham. We had same hot dog boy. He's now head teacher at Wakenham Secondary. His father was first vice president and he was an advisor. We had Colin Bino, regional vice president for GTU then, and he was a member of parliament. No noise.
Exactly.
And they worked on agreements that we signed with Barra Jagdio as president then. We had Genevieve Allen, who served as regional vice president. She was also a member of parliament. We got German Figueroa, who continued to serve as a member of parliament. He was part of our general council. We had John Adams, who served as general council rep, executive council rep, and he was also a member of parliament, and he worked on collective bargaining agreements, and we faced Jagdio, and it was nothing but this obsession with Coretta McDonald, because you know what? He can't bring foolishness to me. You can't talk stupidness to me because I am up there right in front of your face.
That's right.
So
That's right.
he is trying to throw a spill now to tell the teachers it's Coretta MacDonald.
Yeah.
But Coretta MacDonald will continue to be in your face, Barra Jagdio, you and Priya and Saddam Hussein. Now imagine them. Jagdio is going to go out there. I don't understand. This man don't understand. He doesn't know. He is so obsessed again with the GTU's constitution. Retirement age, Barra Jagdio. Statutory retirement age is 55. I ain't reached there yet at all. You don't like girls who bigger than you? So I don't know why you think he is now saying that I should not be general secretary and MP. I must be one of the two. And in our constitution, I am an associate member. Barra Jagdio, you're stupid. You're stupid bad.
But see, Paul Narayan could be an MP.
And see, Paul Narayan far older than me. And he's president.
Yeah. And he could be an MP.
Huh?
But because he's PPPs.
Carville Duncan is far older than I am. Patrick Yard is far older than I am. So many others are far older than I am. And they are presidents and general secretaries of the union. Barra Jagdio ain't got a problem with them. But Barra Jagdio got a problem with me. Barra Jagdio goes so far to talk about the Lexus that I drive in. And I keep reminding him since he jumped to this 60 number, like them boys say, your bunks, your head, and your meditation scatter, like that happened to he. Because Barra Jagdio, let me remind you, you were the person who gave me the monies to buy the Lexus. How you forget that? Are you still asking me about where I get money from? Where I get money from to buy Lexus? But I know what is your problem. Your problem is you won't get no driving in the Lexus. That's why you're so obsessed with that Lexus. But these people are crazy people. But Chris, I don't know as a father what you want to say to our teachers.
You know, Coretta, I mean, in closing, listen, I admire the strength of the teachers across this country. I want to commend the teachers across this country for the work that they've been doing for all of the years, pushing their hands in their pockets and pulling out money to purchase teaching aid, to feed some of your pupils who go to school without anything. You stood firm all of these years with low wages and salaries. And now that your beloved country, Guyana, is blessed with oil resources that you can now live a comfortable life, you are being denied this. And I want to extend that not only to the teachers, but to all of the public servants across this country. I've been asking these questions for years now. What it is that the public servants, the policemen, the soldiers, the nurses, the teachers, the doctors, what has the public servants across this country did to the People's Progressive Party Civic, or Barra Jagdio to be specific, that he has a hatred for them, that he decided that they must live a life below the standard of living, below the poverty line, that ever so often, Barra Jagdio and his government must be able to walk around with some checks and say, look, a handout. And essentially want to turn the public servants in this country into mendicants. That ever so often when the people start crying, look at $20,000 and them things, that tomorrow, not even tomorrow, you go to the shop with $10,000, $20,000, they done.
And
I am buying nothing yet.
Stupid contract for clean gutters, something. And
Exactly.
Big about them.
I say to you, teachers and public servants and parents, because parents have a role. We have a role to play.
Come out and join
because
teachers.
the fact that Barra Jagdio could say he's prepared and his government is prepared to give parents $700,000
and to do e-schools, which failed miserably
during COVID. He has the money. They have the money. They have the resources. And you know how this government is so corrupt that when Jagdio say you want to do private school, you don't know Jagdio done billing for. And all the ministers, the government done billing all around private school because they're preparing for them. You understand me? The money's available. I am saying to you, Coretta, and the teachers, and I am appealing to parents out there, that the next strike that the teachers union have on the road, that we as parents put down wherever you're doing on that particular day. If there's a taxi driver, minibus driver, come with your bus, bring your car. You can't bring your speedboat, but park your boat. And that one day for 3 hours or whatever, let us stand in solidarity with the teachers.
Yeah.
Because Guyana is an oil-producing country.
We got
We
money.
saw last year the amount of money that Exxon made. Trillions of dollars. Some of the figures we can't even write it out up to now. We now figuring out how much more extra zeros
And
to
Jack
put.
didn't say nothing about
Jack didn't say nothing about that. We have the money. Jack Dio and all the minister government building big fancy house. Now Guyana, go check Dubai.
Yep.
Go check Dubai. They're building in America because you don't know the U.S. Treasury Department when they're ready to
I
come.
know.
Ronaldo. So they don't build in America. They're building in Dubai. You understand me? When you children are there kicking brick and eating dongs home for 6 to 5 days, Jagdio, Priya Manichan, and all of them minister, permanent secretary, and the big boys and the big girls and the PVP, all of them picked it in school,
Yep.
getting a full-blown education. And you out there saying, oh, it's me government, it's me party, and them thing, and you picking it home, kicking brick. When they become the ministers,
Their children,
you children go clean
Queen's
the
College
gutter.
open,
Exactly.
Bishop's open, St. Joseph open. They got some at Roses, some at Saints, because their children are going
And
to those schools.
you know what is important when people is miss? If you have 3/4 of the population's children not going to school, not attending school, not getting an education, but you feel fine and privileged because your child is in a private school or at the Bishop's or the Queen's College and so forth. When your children, God forbid, when your children years from now becomes managers and doctors and living in the big fancy house, the other 3/4 of the population children who didn't get an education,
your children
who have to
uncomfortable.
turn to the guns and the knives
Yes.
and rob and thief, is your picnic will feel it. That is the ripple effect.
That's
It's
it.
not gonna happen today. It's not gonna happen tomorrow, but it's gonna happen in years to come. Right? It's like, for example, when the PVP came in office and you had a set of youngsters, 20, 19-year-old, and we said to people, those are products of the PPP.
Yep.
You remember that? Children 20-year-old
Yep.
in crime and
Yep.
all
Yep.
products of the PPP. And this is the period, another product of the PPP
Another-
will emerge.
But this is what they like. They know child left behind
That's
and
right.
left,
That's
right
right.
behind.
And they don't considering that because it's not their own.
It's not their own.
How much did Priya in the school? How much did my daughter get? A plus? Oh, wonderful. Yeah, she came with Auntie Batsy in Enmore
No.
or Enterprise.
No,
Party comrade or party. They came with
they
you.
don't care about you.
Oh, your children, oh my God, this is bad. Priya terrible. Coretta terrible. Terrible is bad. But you must ask Priya, your child went to school today. Oh yes, my child went to school every single day.
Yes.
You understand? That is the reality. Wicked and vindictive administration.
Very wicked people jagged you at it again.
Oh God.
So, viewers, I want to say to you, thank you for being here with us. We are going to be on next week again for more on advancing the cause. But let me give you this invitation. Come Friday at Stabrook Square. We are going to the GTUC, the Guyana Trades Union Congress. They are going to be having a rally in support of the teachers. Come hear from 3 of our teachers, the president of the Guyana Trades Union Congress and the general secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress out at Stabrook Square. And we are going to be moving across this country, making parents aware of what is happening. Come out there and join us. And like Chris said, when we are going to be on the streets again, drop everything that you're doing. Because if they say political, we're going to have to make it political. Because the fact is, this strike is political because the government is political. Right. You did not pay the teachers, and the teachers are receiving salaries from a political party that formed government. So everything got to be political. So come join us. Chris, I want to thank you for being with us here again. We got to do this, and next time we got to go on the streets and let these people understand what is happening, because we must have no more of King Kong Jack. No more of him. We must have. We must look, people. Go out there, make sure you get your ID cards, go register, because we got to vote them out. We have to have a fresh breath of air flowing around this place so that you and your children can enjoy the proceeds of the oil because you're Guyanese. Take care. Be careful on the road. See you next week for more on advancing the cause. Have a good night.